Welcome to UBC News tonight at 10 p.m. Thank you so much for being a part of UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. My name is Sharon Chomdeshe with Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. We're coming to you live from the Now Avenue. We'll take a look at the top stories of the day.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In UBC News tonight, Mosei is the new Orthodox Church Archbishop. Government to resolve Kasanda land evictions. Still to come, Soroti gets a grain drying factory to eliminate aflatoxins. In more news, Kawempe Sheikh's request to meet President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
A very good evening once again. Welcome to UBC News tonight. My name is Sharon Chomdeshe with Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. In our top stories of the day, Metropolitan Mosei has been enthroned as the new Archbishop of the Orthodox Church of Uganda. Mosei is replacing Archbishop Yona Lwanga, who passed on in September last year. He has been the Metropolitan of Mwanza and the ex-Church of Western Tanzania, which is part of the Church of Alexandria, since 1999.
His Eminence, Metropolitan Leronimus Mosei, has been enthroned as the new Archbishop of the Orthodox Church of Uganda, replacing Archbishop Yona Lwanga, who passed on in September last year.
The one which we as bishops, we are wearing. And we say once more, Anastahili, Axios.
Axios.
Leronimus Mosei has been the Metropolitan of Mwanza and ex-Church of Western Tanzania, which is part of the Church of Alexandria since 1999.
I'm more than confident that we as family are really honored and proud to have such a man from our family, because it's not obvious to have a bishop from your family. But we are honored and we are humbled. So I thank everyone here for all your support, all the prayers, and all the financial help you have accorded to this great occasion.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable
Metropolitan Mosei is described as a dedicated, developmental and humble leader who puts all his life to serve his faith and those in need.
And it's my prayer that the biggest gift you're going to get is to be the servant leader. Humility. Humility is key. Humility is key, and I know you can do that. The fact that God has put you here at such a time, this is the time we are going to see how a servant leader you are.
Mosei is now the third Metropolitan of the Holy Metropolis of Kampala and Uganda, which was established in 1995 after the division of the Holy Metropolis of East Africa into 3 metropolia.
Believe was God's grace. With the same grace that transforms all manner and the inform and makes holy, has considered me worthy to become the Metropolitan of Kampala and Exarchy of Uganda. I assure you, I've learned a lot in Mwanza and Bukoba, and I'm ready to bring here that knowledge for our youth and I'm ready to listen to my friends here as best as possible. God is help so that we get the best we can for our church, especially spiritually, from one level to another, and progressively from step 39 next to the step of 40.
Kwaya mujje mubadde basaale nnyo abakkiriza abafu ab'orthodox mujje eno chance yammwe.
The first Archbishop, Metropolitan Theodorus Nanchama, passed on in 1997. His beatitude, Theodorus II, performed the enthronement rituals at the event, officiated by the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, on behalf of government. Muzei was born in an Orthodox family on March 18, 1962, in Iburopa, which is found in the present-day Luka district in Busoga sub-region.
As our national motto says, for God and my country. I, the servant of God, feeling the heavy responsibility of love, shall see to it that all Ugandans remain conscious of their duty towards God and towards our nation as God desires and expects of us. One is filled with awe when he visits the opening lines of the 3 stanzas of our...
He attended Kasaka Primary School, Chwade Second Memorial College, and Kololo Senior Secondary School. While growing up, the Metropolitan is said to have been very close to the Metropolitan Theodorus Nanchama, the then Metropolitan of Kampala, and stayed at the Mission Center in Namungona for 7 years, where he learned the Orthodox way of life as a teenager.
Well, congratulations to Metropolitan Muzei. In more news, the Lands Minister Judith Nabakova has assured the former occupants and workers of Kasanda gold mines the government is fully committed in resolving their issue. Nabakova made the commitment during a land dispute engagement with locals at Rubari in Bukoya County, Kasanda District. Details follow.
As part of her Greater Mubende regional tour, Lands Minister Judith Nabakova continues to engage residents on land conflicts. During this meeting held at Rubari Trading Center, it attracted a myriad of people seeking for protection from the minister against land grabbers.
Ekirwadde kye tulina ffenna Madam RDC awamu ne Honorable Minister kirwadde kya ttaka.
It is alleged that some individuals had fraudulently processed the land title for the 1,214-hectare chunk of land on behalf of the late Drake Ndwalana and Athanasius Babera Kaihura through their children, only to suffer embarrassment on finding that the leasehold of this land had expired.
Twagendanga mu campaign nga tukuba campaign naye nga abantu abawansi ekibaluma.
The land, which is now currently under the custody of Uganda Land Commission, has been handed over to the community by the President.
Because this is land which belongs to government and they have been staying on it for some time, meaning that they are in possession. Now what I'm going to do is to put his instructions in writing to make sure that Uganda Land Commission complies with the instructions. So I want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for being a father and also for being a person who fights for the voiceless.
Njagala kwebaza President Museveni mumanyi yajja wano mu 2020 mu January ensonga zino ne tuzoogerako naye njagala okumwebaza olw'okuba ensonga z'abatuuze azigusizza.
President waffe nkakasa nti bino genda biwulira tuli basanyufu nnyo. Museveni oye!
Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, because your people today have been saved.
It is through this engagement that many lamented over their previous evictions from the gold mines of Kasanda.
Otulwanirire ebintu byaffe mu kirombe tudizibwe amayumba gaffe amenzugi bazijjamu mabaati bamu batwala buli kintu kyonna.
Because we all know very well that the ministry and the mineral police, they were involved in what took place. So I'm just going to carry the reports which I have picked from the area, and then we'll discuss with Honorable Nankabirwa to see how we can rescue these people.
The area RDC, Fiobena Mulindwa, reiterates that without land, government projects like that of the parish development model will not see light.
If people are scared of being evicted from their vivanja, from the land where they are basically supposed to cultivate, then it's going to become a problem to us as implementers of the parish model.
Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kasada.
Aside from land issues, the long-standing trade disputes between Uganda and its neighbours over substandard grains will soon be over as factories are now being put in place to combat aflatoxins in the food supply chain. A grain drying plant has been established in Busia and another in Soroti Industrial Park to ensure that there are no aflatoxins in grains. Now the plants are to help farmers in eastern Uganda to properly dry their grains before exportation. We have details on this story from Aguta.
A drive in Soroti Industrial Park shows many factories emerging. One of those factories nearing completion is Pella Commodities Limited, a grain drying and processing plant. Ugandan and Danish engineers are installing state-of-art grain drying and processing plant, the first of its kind in Uganda.
I'm happy to be here in Soroti to install the first toxic crop in Uganda. And you can see the equipment already here behind us. Here we have the Pella Commodity Processing Factory, and we have added the toxic crop tower that will remove mycotoxins like aflatoxins and other toxic mycotoxins in the crops. So this plant is all about making safer grain and making a good commodity for distribution anywhere.
At the moment we are almost at 80% completion in the installation of this machinery here at Pella Commodities. Yes, so we are almost ready. By the beginning of, actually by the second week of March, we should be fully operational.
The grain drying and processing plant is to help farmers in Teso sub-region to eliminate aflatoxins in their grains. This means the long-standing trade wars between Uganda and its neighbors over aflatoxins will soon be over once this factory becomes operational.
So we have brought in this machinery here to address that issue and to make sure that the grain that leaves Soroti is meeting international standards. One of the challenges that the grain sector has been facing is poor standards. And that is what we are actually doing here.
To avoid the challenge of inconsistent supply, Pella Commodities Limited has already embarked on farmer recruitment and will offer them extension services.
So we are doing this in collaboration with the farmers, that we are actually teaching the farmers the best farming practices, and as soon as they harvest, they bring the grain here at Pella. So we have all the drying facilities, we have the sorting facilities, and we have this state-of-the-art aflatoxin machine. So we are going to be able to make sure that the grain that leaves Soroti is the best and can meet any standards across the continents.
Our target so far, for now, being a new thing, we target 35,000 farmers. 35,000 farmers is our target for a start. So far we have registered to a number of 2,500, but the registration is still ongoing.
The factory by Pella Commodities Limited will help supplement the government's grain drying machine in Busia and the general post-harvest handling challenges by Ugandan farmers. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Soroti.
Great news there for the farmers. State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, has advised the alumni to always support the former schools for a better learning environment. The minister was attending a reunion party of St. Leo's College Chegobe, Fort Portal All Students Association, held in Kampala District.
The old students of St. Leo's College Chegobe have held a dialogue on how to support their former school. State Minister for ICT and National Guidance Godfrey Kabyanga, who is also an old student of St. Leo's, was a chief guest. He advised his fellow alumni to support their alma mater.
We should divide ourselves in decades. Those ones who are between 8 and 89, we can always trace one another. And then those of 90 to 99, you also trace yourselves. Just like that, we shall get to that level.
The Managing Director, National Water and Sewage Corporation, Engineer Dr. Silva Mogisha, who is also a former student of St. Leo's College, appreciated the current head teacher for the meeting.
Those things which led to that situation need to be avoided. Regular strikes, all those things. At a certain point, parents started looking at St. Leo's as a risky place to take your children. The buildings are there, very nice, but I think there are those software issues that need to be seriously addressed.
The head teacher, Trophy Atuhaire, said the school is in big debts, a situation that is hindering further development.
A huge sum owed to creditors. My predecessor did a lot to pay. But my dear old students, we are still demanded over 100 million, and we are paying also. Last week, we paid 5 million to some creditor who took us to court, and we opted to settle out of court.
Sadam Mubale, Andrew Sebida, UBC News, Kampala.
Now, government has pledged to support the construction of Luwero district offices. President Yoweri Museveni has led the way by contributing 150 million Ugandan shillings towards the construction of the district headquarters. Luwero is a historical district in the history of the national resistance movement, especially during the 5-year liberation struggle of the 1980s.
Luwero district is struggling to put up a new district structure for its main offices. President Yoweri Museveni has taken a leading role in ensuring the district offices are completed. This was disclosed by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muingo, who also disclosed that President Museveni has already contributed 150 million towards the construction of Luwero district headquarters.
Pipeline, according to what I've been told, I just want to say that we will give them all the support that is needed. We are also going to share this, what has been done so far, with my boss, my colleague Minister of Finance, so that this structure is able to be utilized within the shortest time possible. As you all know, Luwero is a very important district in the history of this country, in the history of the NRM.
Minister Muingo, who was accompanied by district officials, was touring the construction works of the structure to act as the headquarters. Muingo commended Church of Uganda for the good working relationships with government in promoting the education sector. This was on the sidelines of a 2-day Anglican Church Diocesan Education Coordinators Retreat at Luwero Guest House.
Education secretaries. Yonna gye bagenda ku mirimu gyabwe gye badde bakola emabega bagenda kussaako okulondoola n'okukola inspection ebintu ebyo bitambulamu mu masomero gaffe.
The education coordinator in Luwero Diocese, Dr. Kasozi, participated in the retreat and gave a hint on the gist of the meeting.
Era ze tuyita policies ku byenjigiriza n'olwekyo ensonga lwaki tubadde wano okumala ennaku 2 nga tulina abakugu mu areas ez'enjawulo okuvira ddala kuba kugu mu byo.
In more news, Kawempe Muslim leaders want to meet with President Yoweri Museveni over grievances and challenges they have faced as a Muslim community. They made the remarks while meeting the Minister for Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, to forge ways of revamping the welfare of Muslims through her umbrella body of the Road to Rescue Muslims.
Kawempe Muslim leaders are requesting for a meeting with President Yoweri Museveni to air out their grievances and forge ways of improving livelihoods of the Muslim fraternity. Muslims allege that meeting the prominent leaders, leaving out those on the ground, have failed to address their challenges.
Ebyo ebintu byemulaba bitutambuza emisana n'ekiro okunoonya bano abasajja
nokola appointment engalo ne zikuluma. Njagala kulaba afande gundi mutegeeze nti imamu oli yakwatibwa tafaanana ne bali be bagamba. Ono mulala. Eno jamii yatuddawa tusalafiya ndala ku Salafu Foundation yazala ADF. Mutuyambe tutuule tuscreeninga abantu bano. Ogwo omulimu sisobola kugukola okujjako nga tutudde wano ffenna ne tugukola ffenna ne tukola lipooti entuufu omukulembeze n'agifuna n'agiwa abasajja be ne tutambulira wamu. Njagala okubategeeza gavumenti ya Uganda etwagala ng'abasiraamu. Etwagala ngenda kubawa ensonga etwagala.
Many Muslims allege that there is a misconception about their religion, hence the need to address key points to the appointing authority. Minister for Kampala, also the chairperson of the Road to Rescue Muslims, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, asked Muslims not to judge the president on some matters because some of them act in secrecy.
Mugati abasirikale bakuumawo kukuuma ddembe. N'ekyapa baakikwata naliwo. Ne bakitukwasa. Bwe tuba tugenda wano mu kalulu waliwo abasiraamu natwali wa president sigenda kuboogera. Ne bagamba president twagala kyapa kyaffe ekya William Street bakikole ki? Baali basalafu nga mmwe. Abasiraamu bwe tutuuka ne tugamba nti mukulu n'akubirwa munne namuga nti ekyapa kiri ludda wa kibawe. Ebyaddirira sisobola bibagamba. Kuba saagala kuba mutabuzi. Era ekyapa kyasigala kikyaliwo bwe ki? Kati awongera nonya president wange nti ekyapa lwaki sito kirina ffe ng'abasiraamu. Ogwo omuziki twagugenda mpoze mbadde nga ntambula mizikiti okugema okusomesa hijja na biki. Kati omuzikiti ogwo gwalagawa era lwaki guli awo nga guli bwe gutyo.
Muslim leaders were urged to venture into other programs to improve their welfare and also embrace government programs.
Kati tweyambe ng'abasiraamu. Eno rescue gye tuliko yakulaba ani gwe tugenda okuyamba. Era fande nkwebaza. Abaana nga kinana wiiki eri babatadde betuzenga nga tugamba Walusansa gendayo, Adi lugendayo, nga batudde awo bonna abo. Tubagamba mugende mu screening eddala abaana bano. Ate bano batugamba mugende mubeebuulize. N'atuwa information yonna ne tumugamba osobola okukivaamu. Tinsobola okukivaamu. Obadde naani. Ng'ate be tubatuwa batuufu. Manyi waliwo abakolanga katemba. N'agatta bwaya n'agamba kati njagala sente za Museveni. Sibabayekera bano wano. Kakati nga balyamu sente. Ffe twagala Rio.
The Road to Rescue Muslims has embarked on ensuring that innocent Muslims imprisoned on charges of terrorism are investigated and released. Over 80 sheikhs have been released since the inception of the Road to Rescue Muslims Association. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The Minister of State for Finance, General Duties and NRM Chairperson Rubanda District Henry Musasizi has appealed to the area residents to support road repairs in the area. He explained that the road is one of the interconnecting road projects to be constructed by Ministry of Works using force on account fund. Musasizi said this while officiating at the launch for construction of Katenga Kagumira Kabadama Nyamasiza 10-kilometer road that will cost over 700 million Ugandan shillings funded by government. Details follow.
The Minister of State for Finance, General Duties and NRM Chairperson Rubanda District Henry Musasizi has appealed for unity and mutual understanding among Rubanda residents. Musasizi asked residents to put aside politics and campaigns for equitable development of the district.
Nambwero na hatiya turi gukora iyindi budget y'umwaka gabyo sente gurisha nayo namazire kubaha ebindenda mu banteremu uruguto tibwe twatandikiraho kandi tibwe turaherurukireho ati waza kerere kugendera kimwaka shanje muno hari yaba.
The chairperson, Rubanda District, Stephen Paire, appreciated Musasizi for lobbying for funds to improve community roads in the district, including 10.4-kilometer road.
Government of Uganda money, which we pass through Ministry of Works and Transport, and we are not only doing it in Rwanda, we are doing it in other regions of the country, east, north, central. There are a number of projects we are implementing, similar projects, and also there are projects 3 or 5 years. Most of the roads will be in a condition motorable enough to enable our people transport their products, their harvests, and also to enable easy connectivity.
It is an activity said to be practiced mainly on and around water bodies. But in the Western District of Kasese, fish farming has been taken a notch higher, with farmers embracing the practice on hills. With over 400 ponds scattered in the district, the authorities see a possibility of fish farming becoming a life changer despite some setbacks. Enjoy.
Somewhere in the Rwenzori district of Kasese in western Uganda, the passion is there. The zeal is apparent. And this is how it starts. It is a process of preparing food for the fish that is reared here at Kinyabasiki village in Buyaga parish of Chondo sub-county. Soya bean and sunflower powder is mixed with silverfish, maize bran, and calcium phosphate, among other ingredients.
But this one is for mature fish for after around 2 months and above. But if they are young ones of around 1 week or 3, what we do after getting this pellet, we take it back into the grinder or the miller, grind them into powder, and then we can feed our young ones.
It is a brainchild of Buyaga Fishermen Parent Group, bringing together both male and female fish farmers. One of them is Ingalibira Droneka, whose life she says has changed ever since she joined.
Abachara benzi baye abali yishe yunga basaba ende mwere muhambana nabasya kurubambura nabuke vuke bwa kuvoko erangerende nenyumwa mayitsongera omwaboleme obwa maher vunemu erikore miviri kandi bukaunza mukama bere bana kasende mwa maher nakatabanguko kakahwa omwamaka.
One of the last destinations of this processed fish feed is here at this fish pond. Found just in the middle of the hills in Chondo sub-county. The water here is drawn from River Kaberere using artificial water channels.
Each member is having his individual pond. Me, the one speaking, I have 2 ponds. All of them are stocked.
The Buyaga Fish Farmers Group has seen its members grow from 3 to 70 in number in a period of less than 10 years. So, as the fish is harvested, the farmers here are all hopeful that their venture is paying off.
Then when this program of the Myoga came in, this group was supported by 2 million, was given 2 million, which supported this group. And this money was lent to the farmers in the form of giving them fingerlings and fish feeds.
The market may be readily available, but this is not where it ends. Post-harvest handling is critical, and this is where the modernized smoking equipment for fish comes into play. Mounted near Mubuku irrigation scheme, it is seen to be a clean fish smoking process compared to the ordinary smoking style.
So when you find such a technology like the smoking kiln, it dehydrates using local heat generating methods. We are moving away from firewood, from charcoal, so we are encouraging the farmers and the processors to use things like sawdust to make briquettes from the waste, the kitchen waste at their homes and the garden waste, so that we are more environmentally friendly and yet we are pushing our product to a higher level.
Upon completion, the fish is not just ready for the market, but for immediate consumption as well.
It is a smoking kiln for any kind of meat. There are different sizes, this particular size being at a capacity of 200 to 250 kilos, depending on the species you're putting in, depending on the size that you're smoking.
With a 2021 population projection of the area put at 810,436 persons, there is need to put this population to good use. This is why fish farming is being emphasized.
In terms of fish farming, we encourage very strongly that people should embrace this because it has potential to have a family have food, but also have something to sell. Because to be honest, in many of these villages, fish is still something that is bought more commonly than these other products.
The venture is, however, not confined to domestic fish farming. Lake George, Lake Edward and Lake Catway are some of the other water bodies in and around the area where fishmongering is practiced. The difference in the size of harvests is the reason why domestic farmers are given permits for their premature-looking fish to avoid legal implications.
And at the time of harvest, we ensure that the farmer is cleared through the DFO's office to ensure that his or her products are not intercepted along the way.
These are some of the initiatives whose success would not have been possible without support from government. The Farm Income Enhancement and Forest Conservation Project is currently in its second phase. It aims at improving household income, food security and climate resilience through sustainable natural resources management and agricultural enterprise development. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Fishing in the hills it is indeed. Thank you so much, Henry Okrut, for that wonderful story. Moving on, legislators are advocating for family planning services to be available at least every parish to ease access to contraception. Now, Chiboga District Woman Member of Parliament, Kaya Christine, points out that some married women use contraception in secrecy due to some cultural beliefs and therefore moving along distances for their service limits. Then, details follow.
Ministry of Health statistics show that the unmet need for family planning is about 33%, implying that some women who would wish to delay childbearing have no access to modern contraceptives. Yet, Target 3.7 for Sustainable Development Goals wants countries to ensure universal access to reproductive health care services, including family planning. This means that Uganda needs to step up efforts to ensure that an estimated 9 million women of reproductive age in Uganda have access to family planning services.
You're all very much aware of the population growth rate, which is high. And you're also aware about the high fertility rate at 5.4. That's approximately 6 children a woman, which is also quite high.
Fertility, how many children do women produce, and then mortality, how many people die. As you can imagine, COVID has an impact which is negative on both, because as you can see with the teenage pregnancies, they have gone up in the country because of COVID. And so that will drive the population growth upwards away from what we would have wanted. Fertility goes up, and yet we are starting to see it coming down. So there is a negative point.
The use of contraception is high on agenda because Uganda's population growth rate is 3.02%, one of the highest in the world. For instance, Chiboga district in Central Region, one of the densely populated districts, has had its population grow steadily since 2018. Here at Chiboga Hospital, we meet Harriet Namusisi, a mother of 2 children who has never used family planning.
I ever had. I'm not using family planning since I'm married.
Promoters of this and the sponsors and the donors at once should concentrate most of their focus on fighting the low levels of education of the women and the girls. An educated lot of the local populace would not actually be gullible to be used by men, or rather be manufacturing as many children as possible without thinking twice about how qualitative it will be in raising these children, because it's all about a quality population.
Chiboga District Woman Member of Parliament Kaya Christine wants government to put contraception services at every parish to reduce the unmet need for family planning.
Some of these areas, at least every parish should have an area, especially for family planning services. Those ones can be given out to some of these outlets to at least share with these women such that they don't move very far. Because sometimes others just sneak out of the homes without consulting the husband. So if you sneak out to a very long distance, you will be seen. They will wait for lunch and it is not there, and you will be known that this one is absent. So we need to bring closer. We have VHTs, village health teams. These ones, some of them, especially in town councils and nearby trading centers, can be equipped with some of these methods. And I feel the women can access these services.
The commitment is related to financial commitment. We think that if at all they continue to give 5%, that's no commitment. Then you give 5% and then it goes to mama kits. That does not mean the control of fertility for men and women. That attitude must be changed to ensure that we walk the talk. If at all we get a commitment, it follows with financial commitment.
The number of women presenting with post-abortion complications at Chiboga Hospital is growing, meaning that family planning campaign needs to be intensified.
Because though we get cases like threatened abortions, there are so many, we get them because even today we got like 2.
Although some schools of thought have described Uganda's demographic dividend as an opportunity for economic growth and development, others see it as a hindrance for the country to produce a quality population.
So we must all the time be in line with the resources. Resources must match with the population. The planning must match with the population that we have. Those two must run concurrently. And for us also as natural resources people, we are saying that the natural resources must be given some chance to regenerate. You cannot say that now I don't have any land, let me encroach on this forest, to do this. Let me encroach on this wetland. So the population must be in line with the planning, with the resources available, such that we balance the lives of our people, but we also balance the economic status and the general welfare from household level.
Resources need to be injected in the health system to maintain a healthy population, but also education to produce a robust human resource.
Quite an interesting topic when it comes to culture or religious fanatics. If you have any suggestions or things that you think might be interesting and add to this, please write to us on our social media platforms. That's at UBC TV on our Twitter, Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is. We'll take a short commercial break right now and we'll be back with business news.
Start the year off with My Airtel
4G smartphone. You get to enjoy free 1 GB data valid for a month and 100% bonus data every month for 3 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. This includes free data spread over 3 months worth 86,500 Uganda shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 Uganda shillings only. Visit the nearest Airtel shop and get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Our Ugandan story isn't a new one. It's not about where we come from. It's about what can be accomplished when we're working, living, and growing together. It's about speaking the same language, the language of progress. We're Ugandans building Uganda with Ugandans, skilling Ugandans and developing competencies required in the oil and gas sector, partnering with Ugandan businesses to achieve greatness. We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Your MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 25 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 65 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 165 MBs. Dial star 150 star 10 hash or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Start your day bright and early with Good Morning Bundles from Airtel. That's right. Enjoy brighter days with 2 GB at 5,000 shillings, valid for 24 hours. Join that morning agent meeting. Close that online business deal. Catch up with loved ones. Do it all with the most affordable data bundles. Dial star 175 hash to buy Good Morning Bundles from 12 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. and enjoy 2 GB, valid for 24 hours from time of purchase. Good Morning Bundles for the best day ahead with Airtel, the smartphone network.
National Medical Stores is a government agency mandated to buy, store and distribute medicines and medical supplies to government health facilities in Uganda. For Ugandans that we serve, help us serve you better by taking your individual responsibilities seriously. Report theft of government medicines and medical supplies to the nearest police station or to the State House Health Monitoring Unit. Do not pay for any medicines or medical supplies labeled Government of Uganda, not for sale. Do all that is within your means to stop all preventable diseases, including COVID-19. Continue observing the Ministry of Health Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, including wearing a face mask whenever you are in public spaces. Visit a designated health facility to receive your COVID-19 vaccination and a booster dose for those that are eligible. Prevention is better than cure. National Medical Stores, passionate about your life.
It is 17 minutes to 11 p.m. and we're still going with UBC News Tonight. In our business stories, President Yoweri Museveni has asked local investors to promote agritourism through value addition for better incomes. Museveni says government will financially support those interested with lands that have already been secured by Uganda Investments Authority. Take a look.
President Yoweri Museveni has advised Ugandan investors to diversify into agro-tourism and value addition chains for better incomes. This was in a speech delivered for him by the Minister for Trade and Industry, Francis Mwebesa, after commissioning agriculture and tourism projects in Tungamu district. In the speech, President Museveni said government will endeavor to financially support tourism investors.
The promotion of agro-tourism is a way to go. I'm happy to note that Inspire Africa has established Nkunzi Coffee Resort and Innovation Hub, where we are seated today, as a center of excellence for research, skilling young people and farmers on coffee value chain.
He, however, challenged them to consider investing in coffee production, value chains and promotion of agro-processing and industrialization.
Promote industrialization, especially agro-processing, increasing production and productivity through the best practices in commercial agriculture and increasing revenue.
Ntongamo district already has a coffee washing station and a value addition processing plant, a coffee resort and an innovation hub, all located in Rashamaire Town Council. Government is optimistic this machine will fetch reasonable prices for the benefit of coffee farmers.
Ensure that the quality of our coffee is competitive in the international market and enhance market access to our farmers.
This is the first coffee resort in Africa, and it will be the most magnificent, amazing place on earth you can ever see. What do I mean? I want someone to come here and pay his $700 a night and say, yes, I stayed in Uganda.
The Director General, Uganda Investments Authority, Robert Mukiza, said local governments across the country recently donated 9 square miles of land purposely for developing industrial parks. He says the authority has since created a department for domestic investment, and it's urging all domestic investors to apply for this free land to develop their ventures.
The reason the parks are regional, equitably placed all over the country, is so that the domestic investors in these regions can take advantage of our industrial park. So domestic investors apply for land in UIA. It is free. We shall support you, we shall give it to you, and support you to become, go up that value chain and become industrialists and manufacturers here.
Earlier, a 786 million shilling sprinkler irrigation project managed by South Ankole Diocese was commissioned at Chamate Hill. The project has already bolstered coffee, banana and fruit farming in the area.
I shall ask the neighbors of this diocese, together with other farmers of the district, to come and copy notes from this system.
As a diocese, we are very committed to chase poverty out of church and at household level by involving ourselves in agriculture.
The Bishop South Ankole Diocese, the Right Reverend Nathan Ahimbisiwe, commended government for establishing this project in the area. He, however, asked government to support them with post-harvesting equipment and warehouses.
We need warehouses, we need a lorry, Honorable Minister, but also we also need some cash.
I've told the bishop that all his requests will be met by government. Some of them could be met within my powers as a Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives.
Over 2,000 children who have been under the care of Compassion International in Kabale District are now looking for other sponsors after the closure to Compassion Project. Kisasi and All Saints Church Child Development Centers phased out and are set to be matched with other projects. Anine reports.
The Bishop of the Diocese of Kigezi, Right Reverend George Bagamhanda, asked Compassion Overseas to train children in church programs.
Paying attention to every individual child, model positive discipline and create conducive engagement with each child. Let us focus on having quality, empowering programs at our centers, because God has endowed us with partners who have provided some of the needed resources to move the ministry to.
State Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, who doubles as NRM Chairperson, Kabale District, David Bahati, thanked the church in partnership with Compassion International for helping vulnerable children in the community.
Compassion International for the contribution they have made, and also the partnership with the church of the Diocese of Kigezi for helping the children, the vulnerable children in our community. And we want to ask the church as we witness the transition that the church should focus on income generating activities that will help generate resources to make this program sustainable.
Bahati urged religious leaders to guide believers to focus on income-generating activity. Bahati appealed to parents to mobilize their children to go to schools because government is providing free education to all learners from primary 1 to senior 6.
MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily band of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 25 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 65 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 165 MBs. Dial star 150 star 10 hash or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial star 185 hash. Select option 6, school fees. Select option 2, school pay. Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Thank you so much for still keeping it on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda. You're still watching UBC News Tonight. It's just 8 minutes to 11 p.m. Now in our sports stories, after 4 days of intriguing action at the 4th Uganda Open Chess Championship, Rajab Kamoga has emerged victorious. Kamoga finished highest with 7.5 points, with his only loss of points being to his compatriot Emmanuel Gesa, with whom they shared the spoils. In his final engagement, Kamoga edged Isaac Ekulo to confirm himself as winner of the top 1.3 million Ugandan shillings cash prize. Now South Sudan's Manyok Chandrek finished second, while Emmanuel Gesa completed in third. In the women's category, women Fide Masters Shakira Ampire finished first and was allowed by Christine Namaganda and Molly Takali. This Uganda Open Chess Tournament is one of the many activities organized as Uganda Chess Federation celebrates 50 years of existence. Uganda's stock on international sport has been improved by 27-year-old David Onama. Onama has written his name in the Ultimate Fighting competition record books with a sweet victory over Gabriel Benitez, whom he brushed aside immaculately during UFC Fight Night in USA last evening. Now this, his first victory in 2 appearances, has excited many, especially in social media, with the silent assassin who is born in the Changwali refugee settlement earning plaudits from the manner of his execution.
And in the way that he's striking right now, he's staying on Benitez right now.
What a rally!
Whoa! Just incredible. They attend to Gabriel Benitez, who is still separated from consciousness. Uganda's David Onama busted into the UFC win column tonight.
Some stories are just so beautiful to watch. Congratulations, David, and thank you for making Uganda part 27 refugee settlement, and he can do anything. Impressive. Moving on from that, Uganda life-saving President George William Mukasa has just completed an international body conference in Egypt that he says will benefit Uganda in leaps and bounds. The 5-day competition was attended by 14 countries and witnessed competition in various life-saving aspects that was dominated by South Africa, Egypt, and Morocco.
Life-saving championship ended today, 20th, with life-saving South Africa emerging victorious over the host, Egypt, who were followed by Morocco. The top 3 African countries have championed in ensuring that Africa is safe through water safety and the championship games that have been held in Alexandria, Egypt since 16th up to today, 20th. This has helped so many African countries that are still developing the infrastructure of life-saving in their countries to learn from the different speakers that were coming in to give us their views in terms of new technology, new approaches, new codes, statistics, transforming statistics into strategies, of which Uganda managed to attain as the first time in the history of life-saving of Africa. Uganda was represented by a delegate, George William Mukasa, who also managed to make a presentation about how life-saving has been tackled in Africa and also in Uganda in particular, Uganda and East Africa. So not only have we managed to attend the conference, but we also participated, and we managed to ensure that we have all the things in place that we need in terms of presentations, and then the strategies have been set by the people that did the strategy in terms of data collection, of which we need now to come back down in Uganda and ensure that the beaches are safe, the schools control their swimming, we manage the fishermen on the lakes, the rivers, even in the homes where we have most parents not minding about drowning. Drowning is a very big topic, and since every year we are having the World Health Organization commemorating the day on 25th of July, we are looking forward to ensure that all the families have got water safety and awareness in all the schools that we are going to look after. So our strategy in the beginning is to have stakeholder engagements, all parties that are concerned with swimming, with water, ministries, tourist department or sector, the Ministry of Sports, Youth Education. So it's going to be a very big engagement to see that all we have to do is to ensure that we enjoy swimming, we look at water safety, we control the water bodies, and ensure no one drowns.
We've come to the end of UBC News Tonight, today on the 20th of February 2022. My name is Sharon Chomdisha with Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. I'll leave you with one lesson, just like David Onama's beautiful story. Born from a refugee camp, 27 years old, didn't really have a dream, but now is one of the most amazing boxers in the world. Quite interesting. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Have a lovely night and a great week ahead of you.